Who are non-voters? Historically, the view among political scientists has been that this question doesn't matter. According to orthodox opinion, non-voters are basically identical to voters, so it wouldn't make any difference if they showed up on election day because their views are the same as everybody else. The consensus is that even if every eligible voter voted, the results would stay the same. But it turns out this is not true. According to Demos researcher Sean McElwee, there are some important distinctions between voters and non-voters. His report, Why Voting Matters, says that voters are typically older, whiter, and richer than non-voters. The numbers are revealing. It's well known that older people vote more than young people. That's the reason that whenever a politician like, say, Chris Christie mentions Social Security, he's always quick to pander by saying that current retirees won't be affected by cuts or changes. But McElwee says that in 2014, 52% of people who earn more than $150,000 voted, and only 24% of those who earned less than $10,000 made it to the polls. Also, 46% of white voters voted, while only 40% of black voters and 27% of Asians and Latinos hit the ballot box. This is bad. This is bad because old folks, white people, and the rich have different concerns than young people, non-white people, and the poor. This is bad because, as noted earlier, politicians ignore the non-voters and only pay attention to the people who do vote. Political science professor Jamie Chandler put a fine point on this issue when discussing voter apathy. When 50% of the population stays home on election day, we get a system of unequal representation. That is, politicians generate benefits for those who vote and mostly ignore those who don't. The priorities of the non-voter are ignored. Non-voters are more concerned about inequality. Non-voters support more spending on the poor. Non-voters want to increase government services and social spending and guarantee jobs. These are not things the political class support. And part of the reason is that non-voters don't vote. The phenomenon of single-digit voter turnout has become commonplace for smaller votes like runoffs or referendums. Representative democracy may have decided to just curl up and die in Charlotte, North Carolina, where 3% voter turnout is considered high for city council runoffs. Charlotte has even seen voter turnout dip as low as 0.5%. But it's not just these low-stakes elections that get super low turnout. Dallas has been plagued by low turnout for their city races for more than a decade now. One recent city council contest brought in less than 9% of eligible voters. Then there was the primary in Kentucky for governor in 1999, a statewide race that only got a measly 6% of voters. Non-voters have opinions about what they want their country to look like, but more and more people are checking out. As Michael Parenti noted in Democracy for the Few, there are no mass demonstrations on behalf of tax cuts for big business or for more war and more privileges for the rich. But the system does produce millions who are uninformed and turned off toward politics, who've been made apolitical by the insipid nature of much of public life and the seemingly insuperable obstacles to change. Non-voters have valid concerns, just as voters do. The reason non-voters aren't voting is because there are few candidates who support their priorities in our dysfunctional two-party system. We should change that. Please give a like, follow, favorite, and subscribe to my free Substack. Let's make them pay.